everyone. Firstly, Xona, Zvonarka, Dino King, and Del Sol, if you've got any questions that have popped up throughout this whole conversation about each other's projects, now's the time kind of to open that up and ask some stuff to get that conversations going. Otherwise, I've got some. If we don't have that, I've got some topics to kind of like discuss as artists together. But throw some questions around.
For Del Sol, I think it's so amazing that you're able to incorporate like what a fly, what the fly actually looks like, the colors in the fly. Because I looked at one of your images and I straight up just thought, oh wow, he just like did a fly, and then I realized how many patterns you did in it, and it's just so amazing that you're able to like look at nature and just, I don't know, maybe this wasn't a question, but I'm a fan. I'm a big fan.
Thanks. It's like I'm in Canada, weed's legal. I go on runs, smoke weed, and I just go in my head, and then when I paint, it's straight up. I find it so beautiful, and I hope this collection just gives people just the same feeling I have. Just even a fragment is just about sharing that just happiness I have when I looked at these books when I was a kid.
Oh, and I guess this is a question. I'm not too sure if I missed it or not, but are you ever gonna do like physical copies or something?
For sure, 100%. Like the idea here is we want to like really the swarm idea also is we want to push this as far as possible and as many mediums as possible. Like originally we have plexiglass printout of the bee in super high res. The idea would be to kind of send some of these to like do giveaways and to certain like people that hold the bees, etc. Like give some plexiglass prints out of them. Eventually have an expo as well. There's just like we're working on 3D as well. So there's just a ton of stuff down the pipeline. But definitely, like we want to everything we can do. If we can do it, we'll do it.
Absolutely amazing. I really want to get one of these. Like, it's just so cool to me. I don't know. I used to be like just like you were very not obsessive, but I was always collecting like insects and just kind of writing little things about them, and it's just so cool to me. And
thanks. I feel you, but so it's just nerding out on these things. I don't know. It's so fun that NFTs allow this to even be a thing. Like it's for me, it feels like a dream. I'm doing exactly what I wanted to do when I was 6 years old. It's completely insane. So I'm happy you're connecting with it because I completely get where you're coming from as well with your approach. So.
Yeah, just like what Freud art says, like we're all living like the dream that we thought we never would be able to. Like as artists, like of course, like what you said with the like falling down the corporate pipeline of doing everything like what people tell you to do, and you're not making as much money as you would be right now, which would be doing what you really love and just really tapping into what you've always dreamed to do. So I'm just really grateful for the NFT space. Like gives us the ability for artists like us to just do what we want and be happy.
There's a weird like blessing and curse with everything in life, right? Like because the struggle that most of the artists I know and I continue to meet, the struggle that we've been faced with for the majority of our artistic life has actually formed our way of dealing with this new level of success, and when I say success, artists and creatives are like fires, and all money is, it just fucking burns, and you just dump money into an artist and it just fuels the fire. That's literally all that it's supposed to do. And I think finance and stability and stuff gets utilized like that through struggle and through this massive journey we've been on trying to just do what we love doing. I think the NFT space, whether it knows it or not, is that to artists on every level,
It's like a blessing. Like when I've just noticed a lot of artists are like they're at a point in their lives, like sometimes NFT artists, where they don't really expect anything really good to come, but it's almost like they find this NFT space and it's literally like a reward for working so hard in the past and going through so much hardship and being told no, your art isn't good enough, or your ideas are stupid, or this will never make money, and to go to actually making money and making a living. Like, I mean, I'm pretty young, but I've been told many times that I'm not going to do anything with my life, and that stories, no one gives a shit about them and all that type of stuff, like children's cartoons, no one cares about emotions or anything like that. And I don't know, I'm just really happy that I was given this opportunity, because I mean, right before NFTs, I was about to sell like all that stuff that like you're seeing I'm doing right now, like custom paint, like PFPs like that for like $40. So so I'm really happy I found this place, because I would not be
For sure.
finding any type of anything.
This is your world. It's your.
It is.
Yeah.
Hot Sauce is saying here. He's kind of asking a question here. He says NFTs are the route to artistic freedom. With a question, I think yes. I think absolutely. I would love to talk about the challenges of that, and like I guess the fears that this is why I love talking about this stuff. Just like the more kind of the artist perspective on kind of like the SWOT analysis of what's ahead. Like, you know, how like the things that we can foresee as artists being some sort of difficulty or some hiccup, or you know, like, or something that might be strange down the path. Can we talk about that?
Maybe not so much a hiccup, but just probably the result of the artist's brain, or the natural progression is like, I don't know, chasing relevancy is hard, and there's no days off, and that could be dangerous for your mental health. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a very good point.
The wolves of irrelevancy are snapping at your heels all the time, and it's difficult to outrun them.
Yeah,
I feel like as long as you have, oh sorry, go on,
ahead,
Zvonarka.
Tony.
No, you go on.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that, Dino, because like, man, and I just want to like chime in a little bit on like what Zona and Delso said. Like, I feel like we've all been doing art for so long, and NFTs is like the first thing that's actually like motivating us so much to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And like Zona said, like, oh, I was gonna sell just these for like $40. Like, I remember doing like logos and graphic design for customers, freelancing, and you're doing like 4, 5, 6 revisions, and they're never happy, and you're just like maybe walking away with like $200 after this huge project, and you're just like, dude, I just spent like 2 weeks going back and forth emails, like getting things done, and you never feel like you're doing things for yourself, man. You never feel like you're actually being creative for you, you know. And then finding like an NFT space like this where people just appreciate your art and what you do, and it just like you said, man, like the financial stuff and everything, it just like fuels you and like motivates you to just keep pushing and pushing. But then that's also where it can get kind of dangerous, like Dino King said, because it's like almost you got this like weight over you, but not in a bad, I don't know if it's in a bad way, but like
pressure is always good, right?
Yeah, definitely. But it's like you said, man, like if you're like, let's say you take a week off, it would feel like you took a year off. You'd be so far behind. You'd be so like, you would think that like, oh my God, like there's so many new
Especially
projects
in this
coming out.
space.
Yeah, man, like 1 week feels like a month almost in this space. And it's so crazy. And that's why I feel like some artists feel like they can't take a break, that they have to just keep pumping out. They have to keep like feeding, you know, the people that love their stuff. But I don't know, like, I don't know what's a good balance with that.
I think, well, also I think there's also the overlying presence of how long is this really going to last. And like, I know everybody's bullish on NFTs here because that's what we're about. But at the end of the day, it's not something that's for sure going to be a part of our lives for the next who knows how long, right? Like it's here now. And
Right,
so
man. And
that's when you feel like shit, when you take a week off and you're like, oh, okay,
Right.
well, I should be working. And whether
Yeah.
it's enjoyable work, of course, I love
Right.
doing it, but it's still something where it's like, I shouldn't, you feel guilty
Right.
when you take time away
Yeah.
from it.
100%, man. Like I feel that like if I'm even like when I like go spend time with friends or do some things, I'm like, damn, man, I should be like knocking out some NFTs or just getting myself more involved in the space or just kind of, you know, doing more doing more things. But I also get like I don't know if like all artists feel this, but like, man, like especially because I'm so new to NFTs, I feel like there's like a little, just like a thought in my head that kind of scares me. It's like, man, this could all just like go away one day. Like it could just, because
That's
I'm just so
exactly
not
what I
used to like making this or doing this with my life, that it's just like, what if this all just disappeared one day? It's like, holy shit, so scary.
It's
Oh, yeah.
also, go ahead, Zona.
Oh no, I was just agreeing. Like, me and Zvonarka always talk about like how we're scared that we're gonna mess up and just like fade into nothing. But I think it's to have confidence that your ideas, your abilities are so evolved and you're constantly evolving, that no matter what happens, you can always make something of yourself. And I definitely feel like most of the NFT artists, like even if they did change like their brand a bit, like even if I guess like Zvonarka isn't doing Devilish, that there's huge chance for them to still like be successful no matter what. And even if NFTs goes away, like artists still have so many like roles in this world to fill. Like everything is art basically. Everything is made by artists. So like you just need to we need to have some kind of like faith in ourselves that it'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Like
I'm just telling myself that right now.
Yeah, hope you.
It's completely, it's 100% surrendering to fate. That's the thing I have. It's like you have to almost like, I don't know, let yourself fall from the cliff and hoping the wind is gonna catch you. And
Yeah.
but also there's a fun to that because artistically I find that there's, at least for me, and I don't know if you guys feel the same, but there's just this feeling of it gets the, it's like raw. It's almost like there's this, the fact that it's so fast paced gives, even if it's technically complicated, etc. There's this almost stream of consciousness aspect to it that you just have to go, 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 and that creatively, at least for me, I feel like there's no it kind of removes the hesitation of creativity a lot. So as much as there's this fear of maybe it's just gonna go away, I feel like just not having the time to almost consider and just go for it is free in itself also. At least for me, and I don't know if you connect with that.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I feel you, man. Because like, yeah, and even because like Zona and I've been talking a lot just because she's been helping me with this lore thing a lot, and I've always tell her like, I'll be like, man, I'm just gonna do it. Like, I know I got a lot to do, and I'm having like taking a break in a couple hours, but you just kind of just keep going, and it just, yeah, you're right. You kind of don't have time to think about that, like if it goes away. But sometimes, man, it's still a little scary.
Yes, it's a void. It's the void staring. You're like, is it there?
Yeah.
But also,
The scary thing for me was like, so I left my job to do this because I realized that this is, that was the right decision, and I was able to apply for the next hiring of my job. Just at, like in my head, I'm like, I have to have that safety net just in case. So I actually got my job back starting in January if I want it. And it's all, I don't plan on taking it, but it's just like, it felt good to have that safety net. But it's also like, now I have to prove to myself that in the next 20 days, I won't need a job. And like, you just never know where this place is going to be or how fast it's going to move. Like you said, like, let's just say Bitcoin crashes to fucking 20,000 and everybody gets scared and nobody gives a shit about NFTs anymore.
Yep.
Then it's like, okay, well now what do I do? And I know, like Xona said, there will always be a place for artists, but it's still just, it's the uncertainty is so scary.
I think a rad point out of all of this, and it's very apparent from everybody across the board here and talking about their process and their history of art and what's taken them to where they are now, is the perseverance of artists. Like, I am, like all of us, are so incredibly grateful for this new space and this opportunity to operate in the way we are. But at the same time, whilst at the moment it's the first space that has rewards, right? Like this is not the first time as artists where you put yourself out there. It's not the first time as artists you're trying to gain some sort of following or audience. But this is the first time as an artist that like that happens, and you also rewarded with exponential progression.
It was a paradigm shift for sure.
Yeah, I don't think though that we as artists, which make us very different in a sense, are tied to that. Like, at the end of the day, if an NFT space does crash or disappear, or for whatever the fucking reason the servers burn, I don't know, but we will always make art, and that's, I think, at least at the moment in the spaces in the NFT space that I witness and I've noticed, it's made up at the moment of artists who have already struggled the fuck, and they have been desperately searching for the space that does reap rewards. And so that, the early artists here are the ones that, even if it does collapse, they're not going to fucking stop. They're going to keep making it until the day they drop dead.
Yeah, I think
it's a portfolio. It's to show like how, like, I mean, there's still a community, there's still people that know you. Like, if, I guess, say like NFTs isn't a thing in, like, let's say 20 years or 10 years or something,
I hope so.
Always have, I hope it will. I definitely feel like it will, but you always have this portfolio to show like how like successful that you can be, how
that's
awesome
what I was going to say earlier,
care.
right? Like, it'll be cool. Like, that's what I mean when I say I'm excited for this collection to be done, because it'll be cool to look back and say, I buttoned that shit up. I did it. It was like the most successful thing I've done in my life, and I'm really proud of it, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just
a nice resume.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, like you guys are saying about money and the how it motivates you, it's like, I'm sure like most of us were doing stuff before this that didn't pay you anything at all,
Right.
and you still put a ton of time into it. Like just going back to my cringe YouTube days, I put like 2 years of like 40 hours a week into that shit, and I got paid $8 for the entire 2 years of it. So like, obviously the money wasn't the driving factor in what I wanted to do. I just had the drive to create content or whatever. But you almost feel bad because you commit something. Like I committed like super hard to this as soon as I realized there was a little bit of success in it. But whether you like it or not, money is a signal that you're doing something right. So like when it's not like I wasn't willing to put time into something previously to that, but once you saw that, it is super motivating to keep going.
Oh yeah, it's like a possibility that like, I mean, I still kind of am in a pretty bad situation before NFTs, and like before I didn't feel like I could do anything. Like I didn't think that like, yeah, I could go to college for art and just like study like character design or something like that. But I always felt like there was not going to be any like freedom in creating these things, and like now like seeing that I'm doing better, like there's such like a motivating factor that I need to like find independence. I need to get like, you know, better.
It
and
really opens your
yeah,
eyes to what's
yeah,
possible.
like I feel happier. I feel like, I mean, I'm working like literally like every day, like all the time. I barely spend time with friends or family, but I mean, I feel so much happier. I feel more free, and
You're
just
doing something that's fulfilling, right? Like
yeah, like
it's
future stuff.
something that you created and you're working on making it better, and that's pretty much what everybody should be striving for.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's too. I see a lot of projects that might come in, and then it's just kind of like a cash grab, and I don't really believe in that. I understand that like that's what sometimes people want, but I think that you should try to make something out of everything, like something meaningful out of everything you do, especially if it's that like, you know, it's that impactful in your life.
It's kind
Something
of
that makes you happy.
it's kind of your responsibility as an artist, right? You gotta gotta have levels. You've got to have levels.
And the thing is, to me, when I look at, for instance, one of the examples I really like, as silly as it is like Disney. You see this company that it evolved through the ages, to new media, the internet, etc., and still is able to maintain relevancy. I feel like, as you were saying, Zona, if you can build something that truly has a foundation creatively, and that you have a genuine faith in, I think that, and a lot of these projects go wrong, obviously, but I think that some of them sometimes really connect, and actually this is, in my opinion, when you build from that place, it lasts beyond NFTs, beyond it. It becomes culture. And I think that fundamentally the NFT space, the way I see it, is just an accelerator to express culture. And whether this accelerator change shape, it becomes something else. Fundamentally, I think that all of us as artists, what we're realizing is that we can take our imaginary world and integrate it and embed it into culture as a whole. And that, to me, is what I find like completely insane about NFTs. And whether it evolves or not, I think that because of the world we live in today, I don't see that aspect of it kind of changing. I mean, the genie is out of the bottle, I think.
Oh no, like I don't know, like something like crazy about NFTs that I've noticed is that before, a lot of my friends, like they were the only ones that were really seeing my art. I didn't really have social media, but it kind of like, it just warmed my heart when people connect with my characters. Like when I drew that Uman piece, and then Uman was like, "Holy shit, that's me!" Like, and then there was a bunch of things that she felt really connected to, and then a few other characters that people have said like, "Oh my god, like I feel connected to this character." It just warms my heart, and I don't think that community is ever gonna really, like, a community of like, I mean, everyone's community of just being like appreciative art is not gonna like ever just disappear no matter what.
There's not many other places in life where you can like connect with people in that way. I find that and music are both very similar, where it's like you can really feel something when you hear music or when you see an image. I used to make music too. Like that was another thing I was doing for a while that didn't pan out. But like when you create something special, whether it's art or music, it's just it hits different. You know what I mean? And I'm really excited that we found a space where people are as interested in it as we are. Like I think that's the other crazy thing, is that so many people give a shit about our art in this community. Like everybody's an art connoisseur all of a sudden, and it's crazy.
I was actually going to ask you about that, Dino. I know it's like we might be like almost in the same spot, man, because it's like we started creating these like just little things, and it's just art, but like it's weird, man. It's like it's almost becoming like this like cultural brand in the space. You know, it's like it's so weird, man. Like it's like we're creating a brand for ourselves, and like I was even thinking, and like just talking to some people, I'm like, man, I'm planning like 100 Devilish, but it's like, dude, I don't know how it's gonna be when it gets to the end. What if like people want more? It just like turns into this like the next level. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm doing the 1,000 3D dinos, and like that's
Yeah.
but like I'm also like, man, like you said, it's a brand,
Hmm.
and I bought so like a bit of alpha. I actually don't think anybody knows this
Oh.
yet. It's not like it's just something that
Oh.
again, it's just more to do with the art. But like I
Yeah.
bought a bunch of fucking blank skateboard decks,
Yeah.
Sick.
and I'm gonna start like
Rad.
using the Dino brand to start like I want to start clothing, and I want to like I've
Hell yeah.
always again that's another thing, I have clothing brands that have gone and went in the past that
Mhm.
never really did anything, but this seems like something like I'm doing that band shirt. That's just the beginning of or a taste of what I'm doing there. But I want to start doing physical stuff. I want to start painting on like make a Dino mural on like a Nike or something like
Oh,
that and
yeah.
send it to a random person in a raffle from the original holders, like stuff like that, just where I can express the art in a physical form, because now
Fucking-
it's a brand.
Literally,
epic.
yeah. Like I bet you never expected that, man.
This
Fuck
is
no.
this is exactly what I think is fucking incredible about the evolution of artists, right? Like I feel like we're almost going through this ego death in a sense where artists are forced to kind of like break down what they're doing and think about it on all these multiple levels. Like, you know, because of the advancement of technology and the advancement of communication and everything around us, as if we wouldn't have the responsibility to advance as well. Like we as artists have a responsibility to grow and adapt, you know what I mean, to these new spaces. And I think the pressure to have to brandify yourself and think as yourself, as you know, as Xona is doing and sharing with so many other projects. Like think of myself as a world, think of my brain. How do I like take my fucking brain and turn that into this like massive levels, like this multi-level thing that, you know, that people can involve themselves in. I think that the pressure and the demand to do that, that's brilliant, and the only thing that's going to come out with that come out of that is even more incredible multi-level, multi-talented artists, you know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's very well said.
Completely agree. It's pieces of your mind that you're selling almost. It's like your soul that you're putting out there. It's fantastic.
Which is so fucking exciting. Like one of the coolest things about this generative process for me was that idea that I don't have any control over the end product anymore. You know, like I can literally prepare as many attributes as I can and whatnot, but like how that actually spits out and all the combos and stuff, I don't control that. I feel like that part of it we've never experienced before as artists, and
That's going to be a very unique
yeah, man.
Beautiful.
exposure to that for me.
It's fucking amazing that you know, when you don't have control of that final product, you're forced to kill your ego because you're no longer in control, and it forces you to think about your stories and like the depth of this shit, and take that artistic brain and take it to every realm of creativity. You know, it's fucking amazing.
I think I was talking like some of my best ideas have come from other people since I started doing this. Like even just friends that if I'm having a beer with them, they say, "Oh, you should try this." I'm like, "Oh shit, that's a really good idea." But Jedediah was talking in my chat. I don't know if it was him that brought it up. It was a while ago. Like I still don't have much of a lore behind my dinos, and I want to develop that. Like again, like you guys said earlier, not every project has to have lore, and if it fits, it fits.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, then I won't try to pursue it too much further. But like the idea that somebody came up with was that the dino's like traveling through time, and he keeps like popping up in different like multiverses or universes as like a Kim or a zombie, and he can't control it. He just keeps zapping from dimension to dimension. He's trying to get back to the original one. I thought that was a cool idea, and it like awesome. he looks confused and scared in every situation he's in. So it's kind of like it lends to him being like, what the fuck is going on? And I don't know where I would ever go with that, but it was a cool concept. Whoever told me about it.
Yeah, that sounds really awesome. But oh yeah, definitely. Like, I don't think that I notice sometimes a lot of projects. Like I've had projects, like I don't know, like a lot of projects, like they want to add lore, but sometimes I feel like it isn't really needed. Like sometimes the art just speaks for itself. Like lore can be really good, but only if you feel like you want to build your characters off of it. Like
right.
When I started Devilish stuff, like I could immediately see the characters, but sometimes like in some other like in other projects, sometimes it's really hard to see it, you know.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not even sure still if mine lends itself well to character or to lore. We'll see. But even with like, as far as like the caliber of art, the Devilish ones didn't need lore. But now that I see, like you said, as soon as you look at the image, you can see there's a backstory. You can see the universe that it's from. So I'm really excited that you guys are doing that, because when I read that little roadmap, I was like, yes, this actually makes complete sense. These little gremlin dudes totally suit this kind of fantastical world. So I'm excited to see what you guys do with that.
Yeah, Dino, like I said, man, when I started this, I didn't even have like a lore plan, nothing. It was just kind of like, you know what, I'm just gonna give it a shot and see how it goes. And it just kind of all just started developing. And then every single time I drew one, everyone's like, man, it kind of just seems like they tell a story, you know, this guy's doing this or this guy's doing that. And then I guess it just came to the lore, and like the way Xona had some ideas and I had some ideas, and it worked, man. But like, yeah, definitely. Like, I don't think every project needs it, man. Like, I think Xona said this really good one time. It's like the art's the main thing, and the lore is just like the supporting thing, pretty much. So,
yeah, exactly.
Like, you just gotta have fun with it. And I mean, one thing, like when I was doing Zvonarka's lore, was just to make sure that I wasn't taking anything from his process. I wasn't taking anything from his original Devilish. That I'm just adding something that could be cool. So people can still look at the Devilish and go like, "Hey, that's my Devilish," and not really have to worry about the whole story behind them.
Right, but even like, yeah, look at things like video games, or I'm not going to give it a specific example, but some of like the fan-made lore behind characters that don't have lore end up being like the most amazing and intriguing stories ever. It doesn't even have to be the original artist's idea, but it's like, holy shit, this could be a whole thing. And that's kind of what's happening here.
Yeah, 100%. Like,
I was gonna ask you guys, like, what do you guys I know this might be kind of like question out of nowhere, but like, because like, you know, you see all like such amazing art coming through this NFT space, and like all these auction houses and everything is just so dang good, but like you see art that's just on a caliber, you're like, holy shit, this is amazing, but then it just doesn't get the love and the fancies that, like, let's say something else would. And it's just like, what do you guys think about that? Like, do you think NFT is like it's a space for every artist, or is it just like you got to have like the art, the culture, the vibes, the like, it's got like a recipe of everything, you know?
I think there's a crazy cocktail involved, but I also think me and you kind of got into it around the same time.
Yeah.
And I really think that was like the last time where you could just jump in and just have immediate, like, pretty hit the ground running success. Because it's gotten so much harder over the last 2 months.
Literally, yeah.
Like, I have friends that they see what I'm doing and they're like, oh, I want to get into it. I'm like, you can try. And I completely support anybody that wants to get into it, but it's way harder now than it was 2 months ago. And like you said, with every new artist coming in, like, this fucking Del Sol is going to just wipe the floor with us, because those are very impressive pieces of work.
No, there's a piece I disagree. Your shit is fucking dope. No, it's different. It's just different. I feel like it's a different shit. Like, I love your shit as much. It's different vibes, but there's a place for everyone.
But like you said, yeah, I agree. But like you said, Zvonarka, it seems like there, like, some people that are really high caliber artists come in and don't get the support that certain other artists do. I think there is, like, again, it's not like I did any of this on purpose, and I don't think you did either, but I think it just it lends itself to the community or the direction or the vibe, everything. And I think it's not as calculatable as people want it to be.
Right, because like I have friends in real life that are like amazing artists, man. Like they paint like crazy acrylic pieces and sell pieces at like art shows, but they're making maybe like $100-200 on like a project. They spend maybe like 2 weeks on like this giant canvas, and then when they see stuff like this, of course they get like no motivation, discouraged, like, what the hell, I just spent all this time. And then when they try to get into the space, it just doesn't work, man. It's like, and I feel bad for them sometimes, because it's like, maybe it's just like, it's the new way, like the new generation. It's like, I don't know how to explain it.
It's tough.
The thing with like, oh, sorry.
No, go
Go ahead.
The thing about like creating like a successful like project in NFTs, I mean, I'm barely here. Like, I've been like here for like 4 weeks, 5 weeks at this point. Like, but I think something that I've noticed is that you really have to look at the community that you're about to jump in, and it's kind of what I wish I looked at sometimes, but it's to figure out exactly who are you catering to and how can you use your art skills to cater to them while also being authentically yourself. Like, you have to understand like what is it that they want. And it's the same, like, if you look at AVAX, if you look at Ethereum and stuff like that, those chains, look at like the community around them, you know, like in Phantom, they're all a little different. And I don't know. It's important to kind of look at that instead of just saying this is my art. Fuck the community. You better like it because it's good. Which I'm not sure. Like no one's saying that, but like sometimes like I've had friends who want to get into the NFT space, but then I'm like, okay, like let's see like how you can translate your art, and they're like, no, why should that matter? Because it's very much like it's sometimes it's a very snooty like.
This is a very
know?
different space than regular physical art, for sure.
Yeah, like
it taps into what I was saying before about ego death, right? Like there's this new pressure and there's new kind of like demand for artists to kind of like just step back a little bit from what they think themselves to be and be open to kind of how, you know, they're essentially your fans and the people who are buying your fucking artwork. Like you should be listening to these people, man. Like they're backing you up, you know. And Zvonarka, like I kind of a little bit of a opinion on kind of what you just mentioned before about that struggle and whether that's right or wrong, or whether, you know, there's some really good artists that deserve more space. I think it just taps into that whole adaptation and that advancement. I think that whilst there's not every artist is going to be able to handle this ability to be able to have multi layers to what they're doing and make sure they're across the board on a lot of things, and they're doing a market or community research, and they're actually trying to think of every little layer. I think people who are artists who are doing that, I feel like whether it maybe takes a long time or not, they will find success in a space like this.
Definitely.
Whether all artists can handle that kind of management and shit around their work, that's a different question, you know?
Yeah, real art world, you don't have to be an entrepreneur. Right. And again, some artist stands on its own, and you don't have to here, but I think a lot of the time you do have to be a lot more multidimensional than just drawing the art.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good way to put it.
It's something I've been trying to like learn, because I mean I'm not good at those type of things, but I've been just trying to like understand what people want and how I can give it to them. Like when we were working on Zvonarka's lore and stuff like that, I was always asking him like, please ask like someone, like one of your holders, please ask them like, what do you think of this? Like, what do you think of that? You know, like, is this the right direction and stuff like that? Because I wanted to know like, what is it that the Devilish like holders really like want?
For sure, you have to take into consideration everybody that's backing you, right? Because like it's not a business, but you kind of look at them as like stockholders or shareholders, and they should have some sort of opinion in what's going on because they're supporting you from the beginning or whatever.
And even to like, I mean, like to give back and to like make sure that, I mean, they're supporting you, they're supporting like everything that you are basically. So it's just to try and like reach out to them and find their opinion and like take it into like consideration, you know. I think that's important.
I also think that word, sorry, Del Sol, you go, man, go for it.
Oh, sorry, I was just confirming. I truly believe we live through the people that buy our stuff. Like it is for them at the end of the day. It's a gift that you're making to them, I think, and you can't really control beyond that. At least the way I see it is like try to give them what's something that they're truly gonna love, or at least try to, and then from there it's in their hands, and listen to the feedback and adjust from there.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's like part of the goal for me too is like I want people who bought the NFTs to be excited about them as excited as they are now in the future when I say, oh, and now all the previous holders will get this or get that or be a part of this. Like I want them to always be excited about being a part of the community, because the community is probably more important than the art itself in a lot of ways.
Hell yeah.
100%.
Yeah. It's a wild ride ahead. I wanna just kind of like try and touch on a final topic, I guess. And just talk about teamwork and growth. So like Dino King, you kind of mentioned as well about the business thing. I think artists are. I mean, these projects are obviously businesses. There's, you know, they're like in the sense that there's, you know, trading of money and currency and stuff, and people are buying a product, you know. But can we talk about kind of like what I want to know each of you kind of at the way that you've personally conceived things working out like really well, right? So in your best case scenario, where the project absolutely explodes, you know, to a degree that you try and like 10x what you're experiencing right now, kind of thing. Can you talk about kind of like maybe ways have you thought about you know, whether there's a need to expand team, or, you know, whether there's a need to kind of change the process and the way that things are approached. Like, yeah, as a personal artist, especially the solo collections, or the solo fronted artists here, like, can we talk about growth and the things expected when something explodes?
Well, for me, I'm kind of exiting my skill set when it comes to this generative set, where I don't have a website built yet. I'm working on the connections with different coins, so that I have some sort of utility for the 1,000 dinos, and I'm working on the 3D space, and I'm working on the where they're going to be, like the actual 3D space, not only just them being in a 3D space. So there is going to be, like, I'd love to be able to do it all myself, and I wish I was smart enough to learn the stuff that I need to know in the next month or two, but I don't think that's possible right now. So I will have to expand the team, even if it's just like a pay somebody up front for a website. I don't know. I know enough people now in the space that I can reach out to the people that know how to do these things, but I'm definitely reaching a point where I'm going to have to add people to the arsenal.
And you're totally completely open to that advancement?
Yeah, I think so, because like we said, like this space changes so fast that you don't have time to go take a 6-month course on coding and then be able to build.
That's
just use the people who are already talented in that, use their abilities, and kind of just front run that process.
Del Sol, you were going to say something?
The mic just activated, I think.
Epic. See, anyone else want to chime in on that? Kind of like,
yeah, definitely. I feel you, Dino, man. It's yeah, like, because I remember like the first week when I started this, and then, you know, I wasn't really taking it too serious, and I was getting like really good feedback and everything, and I was still working my 9 to 5, and then like then I went like the second week, and it just like the feedback became even more and more, and people were just like, wow, we want more of this and more of that, and like it was so much like just growth in 2 weeks from this little like project, I guess. I didn't even call it a project at that time. I was just like, you know, I'm just doing these little pictures. But yeah, man, I'm not really sure where I was gonna go with this, but like I think that
It's become a lot more than you expected.
Yeah, and like the team thing, like I never thought I would need a team or anything like that. You know, when I first started, I was like, yeah, how hard? Like, it can't be too difficult. I've been drawing for a long time, been doing art. I'll just like do art. But then you get wrapped around so many things, and like so many things are coming at you. Like, dude, maybe I do need a Discord. Maybe I do need this. Maybe I do need to like get another like website. Maybe it's like, holy shit.
I don't know how you do it like alone. Like that's the thing. Like just having even working with Iraka and Fels, like we're a team of 3, and I feel like we're already so overwhelmed. It's just that's the thing. There's just the surrounding aspects of it. You want to build a community, you want to be present, etc. At the same time, you want to have a cool product, and you want to make sure that it's crazy. This is, I think, at least the way I see it, is like that's the part that like I find is just like the real challenge to me is just the hours of sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I think all my physical form has diminished so quickly in the last few months, because that's pretty much what I've been doing.
It's bread now.
Oh no. Like, I mean, I guess I use my Twitter a lot. I have a Discord. I barely use it anymore because I'm like always drawing, and sometimes I wish I had like someone too, because right now I'm actually building an entire lore site, and it's gonna have like a map and all these like little animations and like hopefully and all this like information on it. And I have to draw, write it up, do a bunch of things to it, try not to cry while I like also work on other people's projects and stuff.
That's
so it's like
the other thing, right? Like the artist scope is just so far reaching that it's like, oh, and then I could do this and this and this. Yeah, but do you know how? No.
Yeah, like I
don't.
also like I want to do comics too, and like with I'm gonna do comics like with my collection and stuff like that, where every release would be like a bunch of like NFTs and stuff. But at the same time, I don't know, like I'm so tired, I don't know what to do.
I know exactly how you feel.
I feel like I'm stalling, like yeah, like I feel like I'm stalling sometimes, like when I'm not putting out like these new stuff, but it's like so much to do that it's really hard to like, you know, show everyone that what I want, because like I really want to just wow people, and it's so hard.
Yeah,
I'm still doing it. But
I think because I think I've heard from a couple different people recently that I think there's a lot of burnout right now, and I think it's probably because this space blew up like 2 months ago, like crazy in Phantom, and people have been going as hard as they could for as long as they can, and you can only go as hard as you can for so long.
Like, Dino, do you think you've been working more on this than you have in your 9 to 5 ever?
Oh my God. I was putting for the first 2 months, dude, like legitimately 80 hours a week minimum.
Dude, I know.
And then like lately I've been putting in 40 to 50 and feeling like I'm a schlub, like get back to work. But it's, I don't know. It's like I said, like I'm trying to go to the gym before I start doing any of this stuff. I wake up in the morning and I try to work out. So, but I'm trying to find ways to do both. Yeah. But for sure, I was working my ass off. And still am, obviously, but like I'm not. You can't be like giga productive. I'm not Mark Wahlberg. I don't wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day.
I don't know. I'm waking up at like 1 p.m. going straight to drawing, and then go to bed at like 6 a.m. and then wake up again straight to drawing.
You're a night owl.
Yeah.
Struggle is real.
Like Froyd Art messages me at like 3 a.m. and then I respond like immediately, and I'm sure he's like, "What the fuck?" Like,
I'm like, where the fuck are you? Like on this planet? Like where? Like what?
I never sleep.
I hate to do this, guys, but I do have a hard out, and I must go.
All bloody good, man. That's fine. We've got a couple of questions to cover, but that's cool. We're almost done. Only a couple of minutes left anyway. So thanks so much.
This was a great conversation. I'm really glad I could be a part of this. It was really nice to get to talk to you guys. Zvonarka, like I've been seeing you around for so long. We never really had a conversation, man. So it was nice to talk to you. Same with Xona. Del Sol, it was nice to meet you, dude.
Very nice to meet you.
Good luck on
Nice to meet you too.
And Froyd, thanks for setting this up, dude. This was sick.
No worries, guys. Like I'm going to keep inviting everyone back for updates and just continue the kind of friendships in the family that we're about to create. So
for sure,
we'll get you back soon.
Thank you, guys.
Talk to you. Thanks so much, Danny. So just between the three of us. Oh yeah, go for it. So,
I just had like a quick question, man. I was going to ask Del Sol because I see like I was just checking out his Twitter and I see he's going to do 10,000 of these bees, man. Yeah. And I always wanted to, like, I've had buddies telling me you should, after your Devilish, what do you think about like a generative collection? And I was thinking like, oh, maybe I was like 500. That seems a lot, but it's like, damn, man, you're doing a 10,000. Like, how do you wrap your head around something? Like, how do you start? Like, how do you, just kind of like, all right, I'm going to do 10,000.
There's a lot. Well, there's a structure to what we're trying to say with these, like the graffitis on the bees mean something. Like there's a story. So it's basically telling that story. So it makes sense. The 10,000 makes sense, but the real idea behind it is that at the end of the day, once these 10,000 bees are made, what we're going to do is to have them merge. So you can merge your bees, and depending on the features, it's going to be that or that type of bee with that type of feature. So there's really an evolutive process behind this. Yeah. Like we want to, down the line, there's kind of we'll see, but this could be like gamified. Like there's a lot of things that we have in our heads that we just want to see how far we can push them at the moment. Really, like our goal right now is to make the best product we can and see from there what we can do, and how we're going to make them evolve, etc. But just what we have right now, just on mind, like I'm so excited to see them kind of come to life and evolve. Because at the end of the day, what we're doing, because like you're not seeing it now, but if you check on Twitter, there's a few examples. Like all the parts, like the thorax part, like behind the head, is drawn. Like the parts behind what you're not seeing is drawn as well. So it's really built to be like evolved model, like augmentations. There's like robot parts. There's a lot of there's just gonna be so much content that we slaved away on this shit. Like
that's what I was asking, because there's so much detail in these bees, and you're doing so many. It's like holy cow.
So like you don't understand. Like I haven't seen my family. My eyes are fucked.
Oh my god!
I feel you.
Please let me see my family.
Yeah, the bees are. Yeah, the swarm is my life now. So that's it. But that's the thing. It's like I don't know. No, it's like I don't know. When have you ever seen these like insane religious like art paintings? Like you look at these like Caravaggio pieces.
Yeah.
That just they make you feel humble. It's like holy shit, like this is insane. How does someone do that? And this is just like I think these guys are just like they embrace the pain. I think it is what it is. It's like it is scary, it's terrifying. We have no idea where it's gonna go. Is it worth it? No. But at the end of the day, just doing it, man. There's something to that at least for me is just almost it's like fuck it. Just like let's go. Let's push as far as we can. Just like see how far we can bring it.
Gives you human fucking purpose, man. It gives you
exactly. It's the reason.
A clearer idea of why the fuck you're on this big rock.
100%. This is 1-1 exactly that, and this is what I love about the NFT space. It's just that like there is almost no difference. At least there's the work, etc. But there's less and less difference between, I think, how artists feel in their head and how they can express themselves outwardly. That to me is like, just in itself, even if it's imperfect, even if it's risky, it's volatile, just the fact that it exists and that it's even an option is, I would have never imagined that as a kid. It makes me feel, and for that, it's worth it for me. Like
Oh yeah, man. Like
honestly,
my biggest thing is like it's not even about like how much they get. It's just like, man, just when I create them and I see like my holders and people that like just get so excited and they're like spamming it and loving it. I'm just like, that's what I like, man. That just makes me so happy when I like my holders messaging me going, oh my God, those last 2, 3 you dropped are just like better and better. And it's like, dude, that just like fuels my motivation more than just like whatever they sell out for or whatever.
oh,
Yeah.
yo, I can't wait to have that feeling. Like right
Yeah.
now, so it's like grinding, like no reward, but like there's reward. People are connecting with it. Like there's a lot of love, but it's still like,
Oh, dude, when you drop these, it's gonna be
Yeah,
insane.
man. Absolutely.
thanks, man. I hope like we're really anyway. Like there's
You-
blood, sweat, and tears, man.
You're also tapping, Del Sol. You're also tapping, into my opinion, the objectivity of art. It's always promoted that the art is subjective, and I think that's really healthy for people to do that, because purely for people to form their own artistic opinions. But I believe, and always have believed, that there is an objectivity to all aesthetics and art. And I purely think that that's tied into like effort and time and struggle, which kind of taps into what we were talking about before, right? Like when you look at someone's artwork, like exactly the way you were describing, Del Sol, about the traditionals and about the greats, you look at these pieces of artwork in a gallery or whatever, and as an artist, you can completely understand and sympathize with the process, and that's what I love about a paintbrush, is you can literally look, if you've used a paintbrush before, you can actually see how someone has utilized that tool.
Yep.
And I think the objectivity of art really exists in the ability to see someone's effort and someone's work. And I think the flies, the swarms, above anything for me, that's literally what blew my mind. I was like, same thing that you were talking about, Zvonarka. It's like, holy fuck, like this is so much incredible effort and time that this person has put into this. Like,
yeah, man, I feel like one of those bees would take me like a week just to come up with,
it's
man.
insane. It's like,
Nope.
it's dedication,
Even a week.
And you've obviously done this on the whims of pre-mint. You've done this pre-mint, which I think is an amazing thing for all artists in this space. And I think that everyone who doesn't know this already should be very aware that in most projects, artists are busting their ass for months and months and months and months before anything goes to mint. So, they're sacrificing a shitload on a risk and a whims that a mint's going to go.
That's what it is, and there's no money yet. It's just like, it's basically we're building this project, and let's go for it, and like let's see. It's like, you can talk the talk, or you can try and do it.
Froyd, did you kind of probably felt like that too with the flamingos, right? When you first were, you were just like, let's see what happens, right?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, 100%. Like, you remember as well, like, I was working on, and this is like 6 months of work, 5 months of work, another NFT project before the flamingos. So I was like very, very, very deep into another project, which I'm kind of being able to return to quite soon. But I shifted gears and got to the flamingos purely because we saw the space operating, and we were observers of the space for so long that it was like, hang on, before we drop this like thing that means so much to us and it's so incredibly special, we need to like change gears for a sec and kind of insert ourselves in the community first, and like figure out how this all going to work. So yeah, the flamingos were on a whim, and it kind of just, we threw it out and see how it went, and which is why it's developed so much as well, because we're not as protective over it. It's been able to develop and turn into this. It's, the flamingos is literally becoming a community space. It's going to be,
the community is like driving it. Yep.
Yeah, man. So it's going to be a place where, us artists come, and it's literally just, it's a social club. And I think it's really going to lean into that part of the name eventually, it's just a meeting place for artists and people in NFTs, it's the whole
dude,
definitely.
yeah.
It's awesome.
Go ahead,
It's awesome
Xona,
that you're doing this. It's really, just meeting you guys, seeing your perspectives, because I'm super new to this and just building this. It's so instructive, and seeing that the struggle is not, it's shared. We're all feeling the same things, and it's a great thing you're doing.
Fuck yeah! Thanks so
Del
much,
Sol.
guys.
You're doing amazing, man.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I love the mangoes so much, especially the backgrounds. Like, they're so amazing and detailed. You've shown me like a little bit of your art, and I was like super wowed at like your comic and stuff. But I don't know, I was super lucky to when I joined the community actually. Well, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what Tombheads really was because I didn't know what a crypto was. I didn't know what a Bitcoin was. I didn't know any of those things. And my friend was like, "Please do this. Like, please do. Just do it. I know you can do it." And so I was just really lucky to be able to message Gab and just show him my art, and just immediately like literally like 5 minutes, he was just like, "Dude, you got to be the lore master. You got to do these." And then he just continues to give me like all these opportunities because he believes in like my art and he believes in me as a
It's
person.
amazing.
And
Yeah.
I'm like I'm so grateful for everyone who's really helped me, like Tombheads, Gab, I mean Zvonarka, of course. Like he's always like pushing me to do better. And I don't know, like shifted. All these man, I have like I've met so many people who like are just so amazing to me, and I've literally never found so many people who appreciate my stuff. So, or like anyone really. So, besides
So
my
epic,
friends
dude.
and like my grandfather. So it's like
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I don't know. I'm just so happy to be in the
It's
space.
amazing.
It's like,
all right.
why can't we find these kind of people in real life for good friends online?
Yeah.
Because the metaverse is way better anyway.
Yeah. Hey, Froyd, I know we're gonna wrap up, man, but I just want to ask you one little question, like,
Yeah,
because
man,
even
go
just
for it.
like for myself too, man, like, because I've just been trying to find like ways how to stay more like connected on Twitter and more socially, just keep up with people, and just kind of seem
Mhm.
like I'm keeping like not because man, sometimes I'll go without posting like 4 or 5 days, and it's like I know I shouldn't be doing that. Like, how do you get into that just to kind of just to keep like fresh and keep updating, and keep telling people stuff like that? Like I just
Well, I guess remember I come from a team as well, so unfortunately, like I've got a couple more brains, and we've explained this in many AMAs before. But Dan and Alex and myself, we're all in a band together, and we've been in a band together for about 7 years before we ever ventured into this NFT space.
yeah
So we're a very well fleshed out team, and a lot of creative ideas and community engagement ideas are kind of thrown around between the three of us. Dan's kind of job, being able to kind of dedicate roles, I think has been really important in terms of the ability for the Mingos to kind of do what we're doing. Our team is definitely going to have to grow purely because with every chain that we release, there's just more and more things for us to do, which becomes just way too much for the three of us to handle. But I mean, in terms of Twitter, personally, I've started to really like look at it. Dude, the Twitter algorithm, I think, is like probably one of the best on all social platforms.
oh yeah
So I've really been, and it's how I found Del Sol, and it's how I found a lot of my finer art projects is just constantly retweeting and engaging with the other people's artists. I really want my Twitter feed to be a place where you can go to my profile and just fucking scroll for hours and just see so much fucking epic art that's out there. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of approach that I've taken personally. But I don't know, like I mean, in terms of boosting community engagement and stuff, there's other things you can do, in terms of teaming up with third parties to like growth hack and all sorts of stuff. Like if you wanted to go down that realm.
The only reason I'm asking because I know a lot of artists are very like introvert. They stay to themselves. They don't really like I mean, I'm not a big like social guy, but like this is probably the most socializing like I've done in so long. So I was just wondering.
It comes mainly from the band, to give you the perfect honest answer. Like, when you're a musician, when you're a group of musicians and you're a band, it's such a disgusting, like in real life industry out there that there's so much pressure over your image and your brand and who you are before your music even fucking comes into it, dude. Most of the industry in the music industry is not about music. It's about fucking ego, So you're really promoted in that in real life space in order to have to do those things and like manage yourself. So I really think that's bled into the project very kind of like authentically, in the way that we've been forced to lead ourselves like this and put ourselves forward and be like, you fucking listen to my shit. I've worked my fucking ass off for this music, It makes you be a bit larger in life because nobody's listening. I think I think again, this taps into what we were talking about like ages, man, like about like the adaptation of the artist and the pressure that the artist has to adapt, right? Like we all need to see ourselves as like, you are who you are, you have an idea of who you are, but also like be fully fucking fluid with that. Like allow yourself, if you considered yourself introverted, consider yourself a potentially, an introvert that likes to do extroverted things, and just be a bit more like kind of fluid with the way that you can adapt and let the space adapt you, you know? Because I think, you know, artists above anything, they're so willing to grow. They're so willing to change and learn. And I think that's just kind of going with the ride, I think is going to produce the most incredible people. Not even projects, but people, you know?
It's a learning process, definitely, man. And that's a good thing about it. Like, we're all always learning.
There's a Hot Sauce asked a really good question, and I really want to hear like what you guys like. Which changes and new developments are you most excited about in the NFT space? Like specifically, I guess.
Yeah. Like changes in the NFT space.
Like, is there any like changes that like you guys have been noticing? Because you guys have been here way longer than me. Like, so I don't know. I guess the changes that I've been noticing too is like there's more focus on art, I guess, because when I first started, I noticed a lot of like generative mints, like, well, not just in FTM, that I feel like there wasn't as much thought in the art as much as the utility. So now I feel like I've been seeing like more like projects, like for example, like I don't know, like a lot of projects that have utility and art at the same time, and it's pretty cool.
I'm most excited in the changes about in terms of for artists is platforms. Like I am so excited into the third party integration, right? So eventually there's going to be someone out there who's like, okay, these artists are like, you know, there's so many different styles from one of ones to physicals to generative pieces, like all that sort of stuff. There's so many different things, right? Eventually, a lot like Paint Swap, less like a marketplace and more of like a platform, you know, like these. I'm really excited for what encourages third-party places to kind of create galleries or festivals.
Oh my
or
god,
like,
hell yeah.
you know, bringing artists together. I'm most excited for that space because obviously online there's no fucking boundaries there, and you can have like so many artists from all over the fucking world. And I think that, you know, just like there's an exhibitionist and, you know, the people who slave their lives running local galleries and stuff, there's going to be a space for those people here and in the NFT space.
Oh yeah,
and and how they're going to integrate with artists, and like it's going to be really exciting because, you know, artists will always kind of exist in a bit of a separate realm to utility. You know, they're always concentrated about art. They're always concentrated about the aesthetic part, you know? So regardless of utility, I think, like staying, like the advancements of the preservation of the real craft, I think is going to be really, really interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting, man. Because like you said, it could very easily and it's going to happen. Like you're just going to walk into some kind of museum or virtual museum, and the guy, like, let's say some holder or collector that's got like 1,000, 2,000 NFTs, and just be like, hey, here's all I've got. And you just like,
tweak 8,
like
6.
To see a clockworky, oh my god, on like the wall, I'd faint. Hell yeah.
And imagine, because augmented reality also, I think, could be a thing. Like, we don't know in a few years. Like, when I think of that makes me flip. Like, you could change the whole. Imagine you're at a music festival and you just see these like the Travis Scott thing, these like projection floating in cities. Like, you could create art pieces that are half real, half NFTs that you can change one part all the time and see people see it through projections. There's the way I think that's what I'm excited about. Is like, I hope there's like some sort of like integration of the real world and this kind of virtual space, and we can kind of play in between, like be in both spaces at the same time.
Yeah, it's going to be insane, man.
It's fucking exciting, man. I can feel it.
I think the best thing to do is keep connected and keep doing things like this and keep close and help each other out. Like, it's going to be, you know, as I mean, you were kind of mentioning it before, Zvonarka, like this place will inevitably flood quite soon.
Yeah,
the floodgates will open and it's going to get fucking intense.
It will, man, because like you see what happened with OpenSea and everything, even like Zoo too. It's like it just becomes like so flooded and just like it's so but yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's a crazy, like, everything's so wild about it, and like to me it's still so unreal, and it's been like a few months, but every time I'm like selling a piece or doing something, it just feels like the first time, and it's crazy. Just, I don't know, dude. Like, I've done so much art, and I've never had anything like inspire me or push me to like just keep going and going. Even if I'm tired, I don't care. It's like, just keep fucking going.
It's beautiful, man.
I think the thing is to just set a precedent and always be innovative. Like, try to find things that you can do that no one else is doing. You know.
And
Yeah.
it's a new space. There's so many things to do. Like we can try
Yeah.
things, like be wrong, like be right. It doesn't matter. That's what I like about this. There's just the freedom to explore. It's kind of whatever. Just see. Let's see how far we can push it. That's just the way I see it. Is let's jump on this trampoline and see how high we can
Hell yeah.
go. It's
sure.
just the opportunity is insane.
Fucking A. Guys, we're in our last few minutes. I just wanted to quickly put this out to the audience. Is there anyone that wants to raise their hand, either jump up and kind of say a few words and say a statement and say your piece towards one of the artists, or whether you want to ask a question and just kind of get the last few topics coming through, or if anyone wants to raise their hand, please feel free to do so now. And have a chat. Otherwise, guys, I can't thank you. I can't thank you enough for jumping on this. It's such a special thing to do this every week. I was explaining to Del Sol that like this is now my life. Like I'm on my Thursday, I'm gonna wake up. I'm at my 5:30, 5:45 in the morning, make a coffee, smoke a cigarette, sit down, and like talk to artists every single week in the morning. It's like the best fucking way to start a day. You know?
Oh yeah, man.
Like I literally walk
like
around.
a regimen.
I just walk away from this being so inspired, and I just go back into my own work, and it's like it's fucking amazing. It's really awesome to have you guys in here and be so honest and open and transparent and talk about your lives. So thank you so much for jumping on today, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us, and thanks for everyone. It was so nice meeting you guys and getting a feel. This is my first kind of talk like this. I'm super happy to connect and see what you guys are doing. It's awesome.
Hell yeah, Del Sol, man. I'm so excited to see that project drop, man. I know it's gonna be the swarm's gonna take over. I know it.
Oh, dude, I am.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks so much. It means the world. It really means the world.
And I'd
Yeah.
love to see you on Phantom too.
Yes.
Yeah,
please
man.
We'll
Cool.
talk about it. Or I'm calling my my partners right after this talk, and we're having a discussion
consider
about
it. Actually,
Please,
please consider it. We would absolutely love you to join the family over in Phantom, and obviously we're over in ABAX too. So we can I can speak for Xona and Zvonarka here. Like we couldn't be more excited for your mint coming up.
We'd love it, man.
And make
thank
sure
you
you
so
send us
much.
all the details so that we can shill the fuck out of what's going on over with you,
Thank
man.
you so much. It's appreciated. We'll have good content coming. So
yeah.
keep your eyes open. There's cool shit. Like
I just wanted to just say thanks for it, because like this is awesome, man. I think what you're doing is really great, man. This is also going to, I think it's just going to help like new artists too, trying to get into space to realize or figure out what they need to do or how to like wrap their head around everything. And it's kind of like what Dino King said earlier. It's like there was a time where maybe when you jumped in and it's just like perfect timing, and now it's just getting so saturated, and like with so many projects, it's hard to like have your project just stand out. And I think having AMAs like this and just questions and asking artists that have kind of already not solidified their thing, but just kind of have like something going, it just helps them out a lot, I think. And I wish I had something like this when I first started.
Like, thank you so much for making a space like this where, yeah, like that artists can share and also like understand each other and stuff. This community, this art community is just so amazing. I've never seen such like a supportive like group of people, a group of artists together. You know, I mean, in the real world, like artist world, God, I was not the best friends with some of the older artists. At least the younger artists are always awesome, but the older artists were very critical towards anything that wasn't of their caliber. So I'm just so excited that everyone's like trying to help each other grow and trying to like, you know, like shit on each other.
It's my absolute fucking pleasure, and I'm absolutely falling in love with this the more I do it. Like it's I'm just like you guys as well. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not an OG on this. I'm so new as well, and I'm diving in deep, and I'm absolutely loving every second and every person that I meet along the way. And yeah, it will hopefully, yes, Zvonarka become a platform for more emerging artists and an opportunity for them to either, you know, jump up and learn stuff or shill stuff or whatever. Like it's I'm sticking to my guns here, and it will be weekly, and it will hopefully be something that's quite special.
Amazing, man. Amazing.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much, guys. Again, that's pretty much us done. Like I said, I'll always reach out to make sure, you know, for a catch up and stuff, and we'll get you back on multiple times, and we'll keep catching up with it, with whatever you're doing, and make sure you reach out to me as well when you got stuff happening. And yeah, thanks so much, guys.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. This was amazing, man. I love this.
That was a great experience.
My friend, my families, my friends, my family.
Right. I love you guys.
Yeah, I love you guys.
Aww.
So much love. All right,
everyone.
guys. Thanks so much. Thank everyone for listening. The recording of this will be a little bit choppy. I kind of missed a couple of the intros at the very very beginning, which kind of sucks. But I think the conversations throughout the later part of this is really the valuable stuff. So I'll make sure this gets onto YouTube and everyone else can have a listen from. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks so much again.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you
Have a
so
good
much.
one.
Thank you so much.
Nice meeting you all. Ciao.
Ciao, guys.